It is another interesting edition of the Market Review where we discuss key developments in the financial and capital market as it affects the economy. Today we'll be focusing on the top 10 most viewed market review videos in 2021. Before we begin the review, let us go on a break.
Tune in to Web TV Daily to stay up to date and informed on the financial market, personal finance, and more. We have got you covered with all your favorite TV shows, economy and politics, market review, women's series, millennial talk, Islamic Finance Weekly, The Brief, exclusive interviews, events, and we keep you up to date on all the updates in the financial market with the market opening gong. Watch premium content. Watch Web TV. Same news, different perspective.
Welcome back, and if you're joining the Market Review show, it is the top 10 most viewed videos for Market Review in 2021. The 10th most viewed video was the key developments to watch in Nigeria's capital market ecosystem in 2021, which featured on January 5th. Barkindo highlighted that the global economy is forecast to grow by 4.4% in 2021, noting that the recent developments of the COVID-19 vaccine have injected optimism into the economy and the oil market. On all market developments, Barkindo noted, we anticipate that crude oil demand will shift from reverse to forward gear and rise to 95.9 million barrels per day. Video number 9 discussed capital market operators in Nigeria and the need to develop millennial-friendly products, which featured Mr. Charles Fagroga, Chief Operating Officer, Supra Commercial Trust Limited.
The stock market investment is not a smooth sail. You will have ups and downs. And there are mechanisms, there are strategies that any investor can use to ride the market. Whether the market is coming down, the market is going up. So we started the second half of the year on a negative note. That does not mean that we're going to continue like that. As we begin to see more companies sending their quarter returns, half year, and of course, certain performances, if it's improved, we expect the market to rebound. However, if the macroeconomic environment still remains this way, then we should expect the bears to continue in the market. We cannot rule that out.
For number 8, it was a conversation on the macroeconomic stability and increased participation of retail investors in Nigeria's securities market. It featured again Mr. Charles Fagroga, Chief Operating Officer, Supra Commercial Trust Limited, on May 4th, 2021.
This trend can only continue in the market if the macroeconomic environment is improved. The stock market, as we all agree, reflects is a barometer of the market. And for us to do that, the macroeconomic environment has to be improved. Employment rate has to be improved. The inflation rate has to be curtailed. And of course, government need to do in terms of power generation, infrastructure. If all this is, and of course, security, once all this is taken care of and investors see an improvement in this, of course, we will see how it's going to affect the stock market in a positive way. We have always said that charity begins at home. Once domestic investors are convinced about the market and they begin to come, they see improvement in the economy. Of course, that will also attract foreign investors. Of course, that is foreign portfolio investors. They will also come. But with this trend to continue, the government has a major role to play because the market does not operate in isolation.
The 7th video was on why the federal government should lead efforts in deepening primary market activities in Nigeria with Professor Uche Waleke, President, Association of Capital Market Academics in Nigeria.
Latest GDP report, which puts real GDP growth rate year on year at 0.51%, portends hope for the capital market. it bodes well for the market, in the sense that against the backdrop of some predictions that the economy was going to experience a V-shaped recession. I recall someone had said the recession this time was going to be V-shaped, in the sense that the economy was, no, not V-shaped really, W-shaped. W-shaped means after recovery, it will also go down again, okay? But what we eventually saw is V-shaped, meaning we are out of it.
In the course of the year, we had a real-time conversation on how real estate investment trust can boost liquidity in the Nigerian capital market. And that video came up, of course, as one of the top 10 with Mr. Hakeem Oguniran, founder and CEO, Eximia Realty Company Limited.
Real estate investment trust REITs they are vehicles, regulated vehicles created by the law to enable people have access to investment in real estate. So essentially, the vehicles are created, assets are aggregated in the vehicle, and units of shares or units of the asset are sold. But these are not identifiable units. So for example, if you create a REIT of 1 billion, you will have 1 billion units of shares in quotes in it, and then people buy units in that vehicle. And when profits are made, it is distributed proportionately to your interest in the holding. So that's essentially, what REITs are.
The fifth video looked at the implication of the Nigeria Stock Exchange Demutualization for Nigerian shareholders. And that was on April 27, 2021 with Sir Sonny Nwosu, founder, Independent Shareholders Association of Nigeria.
The issue of demutualization started years back, during when the former DG, Dr. Onyike, was in office. That was when it actually started. So it dragged down and dragged until some 5 years ago or thereabout, when we went on a conference in Abuja, where the question came around, the question is, who owns the stock exchange? So we tried to resolve it, but at that time, it was agreed with the Speaker and the President of the Senate that there will be a legislation to remove a section that has to do with Ministry of Finance and Pa Williams, who happened to be the living trustee, the only living trustee of the stock exchange. And that when this position is able to be cleared, that then the exchange will be owned by the stockbrokers and so on and so forth.
For number 4, it was an interesting interview on what Nigeria must do to unlock private equity market growth in the country with Mr. Joseph Agumbiade, founder of University. This interview was on March 30th, 2021.
What I've been telling people is largely what I think is the success of what happened from Paystack, the returns on investment. A couple of weeks ago, people got paid. The investors got their money back. And for those who came in via syndicates, people were, you see everywhere, people were just braggadocious. And it just shows that people are getting more confident in what is happening right in our market. So that's what I would say that is, basically driving the interest we are beginning to see, especially in this first quarter. Flutterway was a big deal for me because the deal means a whole lot. And you see that there was a quick succession. After they closed the deal, they also had one of the biggest partnership ever in fintech in Nigeria, with partnership with PayPal. So for me, it's beyond just raising the money. I mean, it's becoming part of an ecosystem that is really so big as PayPal. that his journey starts way back as from X.com in 1999 at the peak of the .com bubble. So it's an interesting journey so far for us.
Now we get on to the top three. The third video was leveraging digital platforms to drive an inclusive Nigerian capital market in Nigeria with the innovative Mr. Bite Oduneye, CEO, Eagle Global Markets Group.
What they've done now is they've enabled a number of innovators to own their clients, because what existed before did not enable them to own their clients, has enabled a number of innovators to own their clients and really broaden the market. They're going to bring in a massive amount of new people that have never traded on the market. So with this time, I give a lot of kudos to, of course, a number of the innovators that have secured their licenses. But for once, I would like to, say a big thank you to the Security Exchange Commission in the pace in which they've moved, and their contribution to deepening the Nigerian capital markets.
And number two in the review discussed how demutualization will achieve an innovative and efficient Nigerian capital market with Mr. Patrick Ezeago, former chairman, Association of Securities Dealing Houses of Nigeria. That was on March 23rd.
This process started over 7 years ago, and it had its own issues, but we were able to navigate through all the corners and the bends, and then we have been able to bet this issue of recapitalization. Not recapitalization, sorry, the demutualization. The demutualization, as you know, is the process that ensures that the exchange moves from being a mutual organization to the one that people now have to own shares and then runs fully as a profit-making organization. And so the full implication for the capital market is the fact that having now gotten about 3 organizations out of it, those 3 organizations will all focus on its own core mandates. Let's start from the list. That is the property one that will now focus on the real estate. The Regico would have to focus on regulation and be in a position to appropriately regulate the market, while the Nigerian Stock Exchange will eventually focus on providing the platform for the brokers to be able to apply their trade. But more importantly is the fact that the exchange itself have been freed up in a manner that at least we're able to focus on ensuring that it's very, very aggressive in the marketplace by providing services and products that will ensure that the market is so deepened that it will compete effectively among the capital markets in the whole world.
Now it's time to reveal the most viewed video on the Market Review Show for 2021. Guess well, it was a discourse on opportunities for scaling the capitalization of Nigeria's unlisted OTC market in 2021. Yes, the NSE PLC. Featured Chinwendu Eke, Head Operations and Technology for the NSE PLC. It shows you that the NSD and the Unlisted Securities Market is still very relevant in the country. That interview was on March 16, 2021.
Our next trading application is an automated matching engine. It's cloud-based, so what that means is all our participants can trade remotely from anywhere in the world. It's a web-based, cloud-based automated system, and one of the ways it will and it's going to enable seamless trading is it's going to be tightly coupled to the depository, which is CSCS PLC as chosen CSD. So the benefits of being an automated matching system lies in the auto application of all trading and product rules for all securities that we have on our platform. Another benefit that it brings to the market is will be supporting fixed trading, and also we have a mobile app attached to it. Mobile app is said to be deployed by Q2 this 2021. So it gives our brokers, our participants, and traders on our market, also investors, access to diverse financial instruments such as commercial paper, CPs, ETFs, and other money market instruments. So this system have these capabilities and has unlimited potential for the unlisted securities market.
That'll be all for this edition of the Market Review Show. If you have questions, comments, suggestions on the top 10 most viewed market review videos for 2021, please send them to otobasido@secondapproachng.com. Also join our website to read our latest news, articles, stories, and reports on the capital market. You can also engage us via our social media platforms displayed on the screen. A big thank you to our viewers for being part of the Market Review Show. Learning a lot about the capital market was really an interesting experience with you. A big shout out to all our guests, other guests that featured on the Market Review Show. We really, really appreciate you. I mean, so many of market experts and analysts that featured, like Mr. Boyodeji, particularly very, very exciting personality of Chapel Hill Denham, and Radipo Ajayi, also of Chapel Hill Denham. We had several others who also graced the show, and we really appreciate you for your being part of this edition. Don't forget that you need to be informed to make the right investment decisions.